Okay, someone recommended that I do a video about the difference between foster care and foster to adopt, other than the obvious differences. For my husband and I, when we first set out to do foster care, and it still is our reason, we just want to do foster care. I have no doubt that someday God is going to bring a kiddo through our home and we will end up adopting. I have no doubt. We've always wanted to adopt, so that is the plan down the road. Right now, we just want to, we kind of see our home, we want it to be this revolving door where kids can come through here and we can just love on them and pour into them and show them that there is hope and that there is still good and that there is a plan for their life. And we want to be able to pour that into as many kids as we can. So if we start adopting them, we can't bring other kids in. So that's our heart right now, is to just do foster care. I know a lot of people do foster to adopt for a thousand different reasons. There's so many different reasons people take that road or choose that path. I think they're all amazing, and hopefully nothing I say in this video will come off like I'm judging anybody's reasons or choices for anything. I can only speak from my perspective in doing just foster care. And there's a couple thoughts that I have about it. And the first one is, and if you do foster care and you have a completely different perspective, and feel free to comment below and let me know what your story is, because everybody's is so different. This is mine. I've had several friends do foster care to adopt. I'm trying to think if I know any who do just foster care. And right now my mind might just be blanking, but I don't. Most of them do foster care to adopt. And so their journey, watching their journey, they are some of the strongest people. That is not an easy road. That is just not an easy road. I can't even imagine what that roller coaster is like, that emotional roller coaster. I can't even imagine. So for me, seeing their stories and comparing it to mine just is so much easier. Our little guy came to live with us 2 years ago, and from day one, he has never felt like mine, like he belongs here, like he's supposed to be ours. We've never planned on keeping kiddos, at least not for a while, and so that's probably part of it. Also, he's not a baby. Babies come into your home and they know you as mom. You are the one who feeds them, who does everything. Babies need you for everything. Our little guy was 7 when he came, and he didn't need us for everything. He needed us for a lot, even more than he realized, but he didn't need us for everything. And he had so many memories with his mom, and he was already bonded there. So he didn't need me to fill a role of mom. And I couldn't, because that made him feel like he was betraying her. So I had established that I'm Aunt Tabitha, and I'm not trying to be your mom. And so maybe that, for that reason also, there was never that mutual bond of we belong to each other, which I know happens in a lot of foster care situations. And that's okay. That's a really great thing. These kids need somebody who can attach like that. I feel like in foster care, you attach and you love these kids with everything you've got, but you're also walking this line of where they will let you in or needed me to be mom. So that may be why this has been easier for us as well. We never felt like we were supposed to keep a kiddo yet, and he didn't need me to be his mom. So I know that when he leaves here, there's going to be a hole. There's going to be a emptiness in this home, and it's going to be very hard, and we're all going to have to adjust. My kids don't even know what it's like for him not to be here. He's been here for so long. So it's going to be hard, and I'm going to bawl and I'm going to cry, but I just don't feel like he's supposed to be here. So I just feel like it's not the same kind of emotional trauma as when a kid is taken from your home that you felt like was your own kid. So I've not experienced that. I may someday a kiddo may come through here and I just feel like he's supposed to be ours, or she. And I may feel that way, and for whatever reason, they don't get to stay. And that will be the day that I learn what that kind of emotional trauma feels like. So until then, I do feel like it's a bit easier, at least it has been for us, to do foster care, and knowing they're gonna leave and another one's gonna come through and they're gonna leave. And so that's our mindset from the start. Makes it easier, I think. The second thought that I have, and this is one I would really love for people to comment on if you have experience in foster care. Maybe you're a social worker or just anyone with experience. I would love to hear this. I've talked to several moms and I've shared this thought with them and they've agreed. I feel like when you do foster care, DCS has less leverage on you. DCS doesn't want to move these kids. It's a lot of work for them. It's a lot of paperwork. There's not a lot of places to move them. But there are some case workers, there are some social workers who have this, they're just nasty. And if you don't comply and do what they ask you to do, they'll threaten to take the kid. And I'll put them in a different home. I'll put them somewhere where they will, do what's necessary. So I feel like a lot of people go into this feeling like they are supposed to do all of these things. For instance, driving the kids to therapy, visits, counseling, all the different things. Now, there are a lot of things you will have to do. There are a lot of things. You take the kids to their doctor's appointment, just like your own kids. But as far as visits or as far as therapy, at least in Arizona, they have services for that. The state provides cab services. Our little guy, he went through therapy for a little bit there, and they chose a office that was an hour away from our home. At the time, I had a brand new baby, a 2.5-year-old and a 3.5-year-old, and then our little foster kiddo who was 7. So I would have to drive. I tried it once. I drove them all an hour to the therapy visit. They have therapy for an hour, so I gotta wait with my 3 little kids somewhere close by and then go back and pick him up and take him home in rush hour traffic. So the drive home would have been closer to an hour and a half. Crazy. That would have been the longest 4 hours of my life just to get this kid to therapy. So I let DCS know I can't do that. You guys picked an office way too far away. I have 3 little kids. I can't do it. And so they provided a cab service. Same thing with visits. Someone comes and picks him up, takes him to his visit with his biological mom, and then brings him home at night. And they bring him home wherever we are. So I let them know, hey, you guys chose visits to be on Friday night. That's when we have family night. We might be at a restaurant when you bring him home. So they have to bring him to wherever we are. In our experience, I have laid those boundaries, like I have set the boundaries, I have laid those things out, and they do their best to help me out with that. So I don't know if it's because we're not trying to keep this kid and so they don't have that leverage and so they just provide services. I don't know. I would love to hear other people's experience with that, because I do sort of get the feeling that when you're just doing foster care and the state knows that, or the social worker or case manager knows that, they don't have leverage. And so you can kind of say, well, I can't do this, so if you need to take the kid and put him in a different home, then go ahead. They aren't going to. But I think it's easier to say that when you're just doing foster care and you're not trying, this kid isn't yours emotionally. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts on the difference between doing foster care and foster to adopt. And again, I can't speak from anybody else's. That's just my perspective and my experience. So feel free to share more